Hello everyone, welcome to the Thai Press podcast with me, Nahoho Rashid Matselele. And in today's episode, our podcast, we are diving into the ongoing protests in Kenya triggered by the introduction of the Financial Bill 2024. Now, these demonstrations have not only captured the attention of the mainstream media, but have also drawn the concern of international human rights groups. Before we can get started, please, I request that remember to subscribe to our channel and like this video, share it with your friends, and leave a comment with your thoughts. Your support helps us bring more insightful content. Now, let's get started and get into the details of these significant events that are unfolding in Kenya. On the 18th of June 2024, that is this year, protests erupted in Nairobi as the Kenyan government presented its 2024-2025 budget policy statement. Now, in this budget policy statement, it outlines a budget of 3.92 trillion Kenyan shillings. Now, the key element of this budget is the Financial Bill 2024, which proposes new taxes on basic commodities. This has sparked widespread anger among Kenyan citizens who argue that they are already overtaxed and that such measures are unnecessary. However, the government of Kenya has defended the bill as one of the ways that it targets to implement its economic policy known as the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Now, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda is the policy that was initiated by the Kwanzaa administration led by President Ruto during their campaigns. Before they assumed power, they promised Kenyans they are coming up with an economic policy called the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, and this policy is anchored on 5 objectives. The first one is bringing down the cost of living, and then the second is eradicating hunger, and then a third is creating jobs, fourth is expanding the tax base, and then fifth is improving foreign exchange balances. Now, these are the objectives of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda that the government is saying that by introducing such taxes is aimed at seeing that they achieve their agenda, transforming Kenya through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. And now, according to President William Ruto, he believes that the measures in the Financial Bill 2024 will help to reduce Kenya's dependence on borrowing and to finance its budget. Actually, from the time he took office, President Ruto has been telling Kenyans that his aim is to see that he reduces the public debt. Now, what is in the Financial Bill? This bill aims to boost government revenue by raising taxes on various goods and services, and some of the key points of the 2024 Financial Bill of Kenya are these. One, now the bill proposes a 16% VAT value-added tax on bread, and it also includes tax hikes on mobile money transfers. A new annual 2.5% tax on cars has also been introduced. An eco-tax will be imposed on environmentally harmful products like packaging, plastics, and tires, which will increase the cost of essential items such as nappies, sanitary towels, computers, and mobile phones. A 16% VAT will apply to certain financial services, and then income from digital marketplaces and digital content will also be taxed. Now, these are some of the taxes that have been introduced in the Financial Bill 2024. And President William Ruto believes that these measures will help to reduce Kenya's dependence on borrowing and to finance the budget. Kenyans are angry about this, and they say that they are already overburdened by the high cost of living. They have faced a lot of high taxes on salaries and fuel since Ruto was elected in 2022. Now, the government has also introduced a 1.5% housing levy to build affordable homes for the poor on monthly income, and a higher health insurance tax is due to come into effect in July. Now, critics of the government of Ruto say that the bill is going to squeeze Kenyans more. Now, over the past 2 weeks, Kenyans have criticized the draft legislation through online hashtags such as reject the financial bill 2024, and the hashtag of Occupy Parliament is trending on social media now. And also an online petition on change organization is also going on. More than 20,000 signatures have been collected since its launch. Now, on Tuesday last week, protesters took to the streets in Nairobi. More than 200 people were arrested as police used the tear gas and canisters to disperse demonstrators, and this has forced many businesses to close temporarily. Also, on Wednesday, these protests spread to the coastal city of Mombasa. Also in Kisumu on Thursday, we also had protests. As we speak right now, 2 people have died because of these protests. There has been attention from civil society organizations such as the Law Society of Kenya. The bill has also faced attack from the private sector, which says it could impact sectors such as retail, finance, and the internet transport. Now, as a result of these widespread protests across Kenya, government had again to sit down and make a review of the Financial Bill 2024. Last week, the chairman of the Parliamentary Finance Committee, that is Kuria Kiman, with the President Ruto, in a press briefing which was attended by President Ruto, as well as the lawmakers in the ruling coalition, had to announce to the public that they had scrapped some proposed taxes in the controversial Financial Bill 2024, and that those taxes included 16% levy on bread. Other taxes that were scrapped from the Financial Bill included taxes on cooking oils, mobile money services, and motor vehicles. Mr. Kimani also announced that a reversal on a proposed eco tax that targeted products seen as having a negative impact on the environment, such as packaging, plastics, and tires. It had faced a backlash, with many urging that it would raise the cost of key goods such as nappies, sanitary towels, computers, and mobile phones. Now, the chairman of the budget committee announced that the levy would now only apply to imported goods. The president, Ruto, during this press briefing, did not speak or react during the briefing, but the move, which has been seen as succumbing to public pressure, people say now it might be a blow to his government. Despite this reaction from the government to scrap some taxes from the financial bill, Kenyans are insisting that that is not enough. They are saying that the government should do away with the bill. It should not be passed. If the government does not listen to them and does not drop this bill, they are going to continue to protest until the government listens to them. There's a difference between these demonstrations that are going on and those ones previous, which had been happening in the previous years. In previous demonstrations that Kenya has experienced, they were led by politicians, but now these demonstrations are not led by the protests which are going on now are not led by politicians. Rather, these are young youths who call themselves the Generation Z, Gen Z, and this is the hashtag one of the hashtags which is being used on social media platforms as a part of a mobilizing tool of these protests. Now, when we talk about the Generation Z or Gen Z, these are people who are born between late 1990s to the early 2000s. Social media has played a very, very crucial role in mobilizing the citizens to leave their homes, come to the streets to demonstrate. The young youths are determined that they are not going to give up until the government listens to their voices. And if if the government is not ready to drop the bill, they are suggesting that they will push for a total shutdown of the country. A plan has been made what the protesters hope to do if the government doesn't hear, because they have expressed their undenying determination in opposing the Finance Bill 2024 with a new set of demonstrations planned to run for the next week. The hashtags which are being used, Occupy Parliament, Occupy State House. Now, there is a poster which has been widely shared on social media platforms revealing that Kenyan youths will be undertaking a 7-day protest, which they say is meant to show the solidarity for their slain colleague, and they also push for the government to heed the plight of Kenyans by rejecting the bill, which has since sailed through the second reading. And there is a poster that is now trending on social media that suggests that the youth are planned to undertake a 7-day protest in solidarity with the people who were killed in these protests, and they will also be doing this to force the government to reject this bill. What you have to know is that despite these protests which have been going on Wednesday, this bill was again passed after its second reading. The plan is dubbed 7 Days of Rage. That is the plan which Kenyans have put across, and they have named it 7 Days of Rage. Now, the demonstrations, they say, will serve as a warning to the members of parliament who voted in support of the bill on Thursday against the will of their respective constituents, and will also force the multi-agency bodies to investigate incidences of cases of police brutality that were meted out by police on the protesters. This post also, which is on the social media platforms, it says, one of the statements in this post, it says, "We reject the finance bill in its entirety, and despite our peaceful protests, police have responded with bullets, killing 2 of our own and injuring many others, and 1 person is in a critical condition. We refuse to be silenced, so we are marching on." That is what the document circulating on social media, that is what it reads. Now, on Friday, June 21st, the youth were set to visit the city mortuary, attend the Juma prayers at Jamia Mosque, and give water to those living after the prayers. Then on the second day, that is Saturday, that is yesterday, June 22nd, the protesters extended a unity call to the bars and clubs that Generation Z frequent, or that Generation Z always go. The plan is that on Saturday a call will be made to the bars and the clubs that music should stop midnight, and everybody will listen to a national song. That song is Ruto Must Go and Reject the Finance Bill. That is the plan on Saturday. Then on Sunday, as I am broadcasting this podcast now, the plan is that that is June 23rd. The plan will see a number of activities, including holding into account the 204 members of parliament who voted in support of the bill in churches. The youth plan to rally churches to deny the said MPs platforms to address the congregations. Then on Monday, that is tomorrow, there will be a courtesy call. That courtesy call will be stating that endelea hivyo hivyo, or continue like that. This call will be made to the MPs who supported the bill at their respective constituency offices, and their constituents would be urged to boycott any businesses affiliated with them. The youth will also plan to mount support by collecting signatures in order to recall them. Then the document also reads that Generation Z, they warn of a total shutdown of the country because Tuesday will be now the 7th day. Z warn of a total shutdown of the country through a nationwide strike. So I don't know what will happen on Tuesday. Let's wait and see. On Wednesday, the youths will be leading a call to action demanding justice for the death of their own. That is the one who was killed in this protest was called Rex, who was killed during Thursday's protests in Nairobi. So they are expected to visit the Inspector General of Police, that is Japhet Kome. That will be on Wednesday. On Thursday will mark the climax of the protests, where Generation Z have warned that they will block main roads leading to Nairobi and march to State House under the slogan Occupy State House. It is expected actually on that day is the day when President William Ruto is expected to sign the Finance Bill 2024 into law. Generation Z say that they will be going to witness Ruto sign their lives into slavery. Let's wait the subsequent actions that will be taken by the protesters. But as per now, that is the insight into these protests. And as this week begins, our eyes are on Kenya, and we want to see how the government is going to react on these protests and demonstrations, and we hope that maybe both sides will come to a dialogue and a solution will be made. Thank you very much. That has been an insight into the Kenyan protests. We meet again in another podcast. Continue following Thai Press, subscribe, share, like and comment. Bye bye.